Victor Van Dort, the awkward son of newly rich fishmongers, is set to marry Victoria Everglot, the tragically beautiful daughter of aristocrats who are so broke they make student loans look forgiving. This marriage is a social ladder swap. Victor's parents get class, and Victoria's get cold, hard cash, or at least hope for it. Victoria lives with her parents, Madeline Everglot and Lord Finis Everglot. Both are emotionally allergic to affection and only slightly more excited about this wedding than they would be about tax season. Victor, on the other hand, lives with his father William and Nell Van Dort, a mother so ambitious she could run for president, but instead chooses to aggressively micromanage Victor's life with a side of disappointed glares. Despite their families treating love like a tax deduction, Victor and Victoria meet for the first time and, shockingly, actually like each other. Victor is charmed by Victoria's kindness, and Victoria is pleasantly surprised that Victor can play piano like a moody romantic. Cupid clearly was on overtime that day. Pastor Galswells, the priest hired to officiate the ceremony, spends most of his time barking corrections at Victor like a Victorian Simon Cowell. Victor, already sweating like a fish out of water, probably inherited from the family business, completely bombs the wedding rehearsal. Pastor Galswells, never one to miss a chance for dramatic disapproval, declares that the wedding is on hold until Victor stops being a walking panic attack and learns his vows properly. Victor runs off into the woods to practice like a sad Shakespeare character with commitment issues. He finds a spooky tree, gets a little too into his rehearsal, and places the wedding ring on what he thinks is a root. Plot twist: it's the very cold, very dead finger of a long-deceased bride named Emily. Emily rises from the grave in full bridal glory. She immediately claims Victor as her new husband because, hey, consent is apparently optional in the afterlife. Victor, understandably, loses his mind and tries to make the fastest exit since someone yelled free samples at a fish market. But Emily's got a flair for drama. And just like that, poof, he's whisked away to the land of the dead. Now, you'd expect a place full of corpses to be bleak and haunted, but surprise. The land of the dead is basically a skeleton jazz club with bonus existential freedom. Back in the land of the living, the town crier, who apparently has no life of his own, spotted Victor at the town's edge being carried off by what looks like a very committed cosplayer. He promptly alerts both families, turning missing groom into hot town gossip before breakfast. While hanging out with his very dead fiancé, Victor learns that Emily wasn't always a dramatic zombie in a tattered gown. She was once a hopeful bride-to-be who got murdered on the night of her elopement. Her mystery fiancé turned out to be less Prince Charming and more jewel thief with homicidal tendencies. On the bright side, death comes with perks like being reunited with your long-dead dog. Victor is overjoyed to find Scraps, his dearly departed pup, now a skeletal good boy with the same tail-wagging enthusiasm. But Victor still wants to go back to his living almost wife Victoria. So he pulls the old, "Why don't you meet my parents?" trick, which works because even the undead can't resist impressing the in-laws. Elder Gutknecht, the underworld's equivalent of a crypt keeper and part-time philosopher, grants Victor and Emily temporary access to the land of the living. Because love. Or something. Once topside, Victor starts to feel a little guilty for manipulating the sweet, decaying woman who's still wearing her murder day outfit. He asks her to chill in the woods for a moment, probably hoping she doesn't realize he's ghosting her. Victor races off to find Victoria. Just as things are heating up, Emily appears like a goth ex at prom and whisks Victor away mid-romance with the dramatic flair of someone who's practiced this moment in the mirror. Feeling like a leftover entree, Emily accuses Victoria of being the other woman. But Victor, who's had just about enough of this ghostly soap opera, points out that Emily is technically the other woman. Back in the land of cold hearts and colder tea, Victoria tells her parents about Victor's supernatural detour. Believing Victor ghosted her, they decide she should marry someone with cash, Lord Barkis Bittern, a smug stranger who oozes suspicious charm and probably drinks overpriced wine. Lady Everglot is thrilled because Barkis has money, allegedly, and Victoria, well, she's got no say in it. After a heartfelt makeup moment, Victor apologizes to Emily. He explains he wasn't trying to ghost her and just needed to let Victoria know he hadn't actually ditched her. Coachman Mayhew, who had an unexpected accident, lets Victor know that Victoria is being forced to marry Lord Barkis, a man whose vibes scream fraudulent inheritance scheme. Devastated by the news and perhaps running low on rational decision-making, Victor decides to go full Romeo. He agrees to actually marry Emily for real this time. The catch? The ceremony must happen in the land of the living, and he has to seal the deal by drinking a very literal deadly poison. The undead get hyped, dust off their finest bones, and march upstairs to the land of the living like it's a musical number from Thriller. Naturally, their arrival sends the townspeople into full-blown panic, until they realize it's just their dead granddad, Uncle Ned, and that guy who owed them 5 shillings. Lord Barkis reveals his true colors. He loudly proclaims he only wanted to marry Victoria for her money. Too bad she doesn't have any. Victoria promptly dumps him like last week's cold soup. Victoria then follows the crowd to the big spooky wedding, just in time to watch Victor finish his vows and lift the poison like it's a toast at a very morbid open bar. But Emily suddenly stops him. She's realized that marrying Victor means stealing away his chance at life and love. So instead, she does the bravest thing of all. She lets go. Just as we're about to end things on a sad but sweet note, Barkis crashes the wedding like the world's worst uninvited guest. He tries to kidnap Victoria, but Emily recognizes him, and not in a fun exit-the-mall kind of way. Nope, this is the guy who murdered her. Victor duels Barkis like a true Victorian gentleman, but it's Emily who jumps in and saves him, because undead brides don't play. Barkis, being a pompous idiot, raises a drink to Emily's failed love life, only to accidentally chug the deadly poison meant for Victor. Now officially dead, Barkis is snatched up by the undead, who can finally interfere because he's on their turf now. Emily, finally at peace after airing her murder grievances and helping true love find its way, gently returns Victor's ring. As she steps into the moonlight, she dissolves into 1,000 butterflies. Victor and Victoria, now free to be together, watch the butterflies fly into the night sky, holding each other close. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe for more. And don't forget to click the recommended video to keep the fun going.